What's happening, everybody? This is Jake with Trans Swagger, week 5, and I'm going to be talking about names. I had a lot of difficulty, and it took me a long time to figure out a name. I actually spent over a year just going by my initials, and I still go by that as a nickname with some of my friends. I really wanted validation or some kind of external feedback, reassurance, telling me that there was a specific, perfect name that would fit, and it was just destined to be. But what I realized was that it just came down to whatever name I felt most comfortable with and I felt fit. So I had a list of criteria. For one, it had to start with a J. My birth name started with a J, and I was really attached to my initials, of course. Also, all of the other guys in my family have first names that start with J's, so it was important to me to keep that consistency. Second off, I wanted my name to be Jewish. I am Jewish. I'm not particularly religious, but it just, for some reason, I wanted my name to be Jewish. My birth name wasn't, and that, for some reason, that bummed me out. Another reason that name appealed to me is that it was a name that my mom had considered that she may have named me had things under more fortunate circumstances at birth. Um, so that was somewhat important to me as well. So my legal name change is almost through, but getting a legal name change is a pain because in Maryland at my district court there was $135 filing fee to file any kind of legal paperwork. On top of that, you have to pay for an announcement in a local publication, like saying that you're changing your name and asking if anyone has any objections. They make sure that you're not in debt, and they check your criminal record to make sure you're not trying to escape any kind of previous misdoings, wrongdoings. Um, so yeah, it's a pretty big process that you have to go through. But I'm almost done, and that's great because what I'm going to discuss now is how much of a pain it is to not have your legal name match up the name you actually go by. First off, any situation in which you have to show a form of identification becomes incredibly uncomfortable. Best case scenario, you're gendered correctly, and they say, may I see your ID, sir? And then you show them your ID and it has a girl's name on it. And either they feel awkward and apologize, or you absolutely definitely feel like shit. Worst case scenario, they react with hostility. One of the first times I ever went to a bar, the bartender was just an asshole to me for no reason. I did not understand why. And a few days later, a friend of mine, they told me that the bartender was also an asshole to them and that it was because of gender presentation issues. So what happened was this asshole bartender sees my ID, sees what I look like, sees me use the men's room, and that's it. That's it. Total fucking prick. So I avoid any situation where I have to show ID. I don't go to bars. I don't buy alcohol in grocery stores, anything. It's not worth it to me. It's just not worth it. Um, and that really sucks. Also, I've been accused of having a fake ID. I've had to show multiple forms of ID, my learner's permit, my school ID, my debit card, just to convince bouncers to let me in where I'm going. And then there's any situation where you have personal records. I go to school and they have my birth name on record, and they put your full legal name in your email address at the school. So my birth name is in my email address, and I work for the school, and there's certain email lists that you can only access with your school email domain name. Um, and so I have to avoid using email at all because if I use email, the person's going to see my birth name. It's more than an inconvenience, really. Like, I'm not able to use my school email address. Um, Also, there's issues of I'm in the process of trying to graduate, so I have to get documentation in to get my diploma, and unless I want them to say the wrong name at graduation and give me a diploma with the wrong name, and that's gonna be great for job applications, right? Um, anyway, yeah. So, bottom line, having to change your name legally is a pain in the ass, and it sucks. But I'm almost done on a happy note. I guess that's all I got for this week. See you later.